Resource-based view. What is resource-based view, RBV? The resource-based view, RBV, also known as resource-based theory, is a strategy that emphasizes the importance of organizational resources and capabilities as the key to attaining a competitive advantage and improving performance. A highly trained worker pool enables a business to identify opportunities and minimize risks in advance. It also allows them to develop initiatives to increase operational efficiency and effectiveness. RBV is a strategy for gaining a sustainable competitive advantage. History of resource-based view. The resource-based view emerged in the 1980s to 1990s through writers like Werner Felt, Prahlad, and Hamel, and Barney. They argues that firms should seek competitive advantage by using internal resources in new ways, rather than focusing on external factors or creating new capabilities. Resources are key to improved performance. Example of resource-based view. The competition between Apple Inc. and Samsung Electronics is a great example of RBV of theory. The two companies compete in the same industry and face similar external market forces. However, the company's organizational performance varies due to resource differences. Type of resource-based view. There are two types of resources: tangible assets and intangible assets. Let's study them in detail. Tangible assets. Tangible assets are physical objects. Land, buildings, machinery, equipment, and capital are all tangible assets. Organizations can simply purchase physical resources from the market. As a result, they provide few long-term benefits to businesses. This is because rivals might purchase identical assets, resulting in competitive parity. Intangible assets. Intangible assets have no physical presence. However, a firm may own these assets. Examples of intangible assets include brand reputation, trademarks, intellectual property, and so on. Unlike tangible assets, companies take a long time to create intangible assets. As a result, a company's competitors cannot easily acquire these assets from the market. Typically, intangible assets exist within a company. As a result, intangible assets contribute significantly to a company's competitiveness. Intangible assets are often the primary source of a company's long-term competitive advantage. The key assumptions of resource-based view. The two fundamental assumptions of resource-based theory are that the resources must be heterogeneous and immobile in order to translate a short-term competitive advantage into a sustainable one. Heterogeneous. The primary heterogeneous assumption is that organizations differ in resources and core competencies. Companies with the same resource mix cannot use diverse strategies to outperform each other. In the same competitive market, firms with heterogeneous staff can excel using alternative methods. For example, Apple Incorporated and Samsung Electronics operate in the same industry, but show different performance due to differences in resources and expertise. Immobile. The second assumption of resource-based theory is that resources are static and do not move freely between companies in the near run. This immobility prevents other organizations from replicating expertise and strategy. Immobile resources include intangible assets like brand equity, intellectual property, and some tangible assets. Importance of resource-based view. Provides visibility for efficient resource allocation. Offers a comprehensive view of resource pools. Enables insight into skills, competencies, availability, etc. Supports data-driven decisions and optimum talent use. Facilitates strategic decision-making. Assesses resource strengths and weaknesses. Maximizes strengths, mitigates weaknesses. Aligns actions with long-term goals. enhances innovation and adaptability, leverages unique resources and capabilities, drives innovation through product and process development, promotes adaptability to market demands, promotes long-term sustainability, develops valuable and hard-to-replicate resources, builds resilience by enhancing internal strengths, reduces reliance on external factors, maintains the competitive advantage, supports execution of multifaceted projects, uses both primary and secondary workforce skills, ensures demand fulfillment and market positioning, enables cross-functional usage of resources, facilitates enterprise-wide visibility in matrix organizations, forms cross-functional teams across departments, reduces hiring costs and enhances employee portfolios.